things are going well out west. We sure are going to miss you here in Chicago. It's crazy to think it was 13 years ago that I accepted a trade to the Texas Rangers that would change both of our lives forever. You coming to the Cubs in return, who knew that my decision would have such an impact on not only you, but on the future of the entire Chicago Cubs organization. I'm so glad that my choice opened the door for you to have such an amazing career in Chicago. The organization, the entire Cubs fan base, man, we'll forever be grateful. So with that, I just wanted to say, you're welcome.
This AI stuff is amazing, man. Reading brainwaves. This was fun. I just love just getting off the start of the show with the guy in charge, right? Because ultimately he's going to decide whether or not I get to keep going tonight. But he's done a fabulous job already. Big expectations to come from Milwaukee and to come down here and join the Cubs and be their manager. He led them to an 83-79 record last year, and he's doing better this year. I promise you that. He's not standing for less than 90 and a trip to the playoffs. Put your hands together for the manager, Counsell. Thanks. Yeah, I'd like to think so too. I mean, I could have picked a bunch of other places, you know. We almost got Randall Delgado. Remember him?
Yeah, there you go.
Wow, that's impressive. How's things? How's the holidays?
Holidays are great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice to have you. So, for people who don't know this, Craig's daughter, Finley, and my son, Brady, go to the University of Arizona together.
Both freshmen at the University of Arizona together.
Yeah. That's pretty awesome. You got the same problem.
They've seen each other at football games.
Yes.
Yes.
That's right. Did you have the same problem when she came home that all they did was ask to go hang out with her friends for money?
That's parenting. That's called parenting. Parenting teenagers.
Parent coaching's easier.
It's similar sometimes, yeah. It's similar. Very similar.
You guys want more playing time, more money, I get it. Last year, your first year, just talk about that. What was that like for you coming down here, especially after years of managing against the Cubs, to find out that uniform on?
Well, I mean, the first thing that, and I know you all know this, but like every day, even more maybe, like walking into Wrigley it becomes like more amazing every time I do it. And it really does. I didn't think I would feel that way. I'm usually not a crazy sentimental person, but like that place, like there's something about the place. Today I drove up there and it's empty and it's winter, but there's just something about walking across that street, you know, into that ballpark that just gives you chills no matter what's going on. So that was even more special than I thought it was. Like Fridays, when that song playing, right? I mean, it just doesn't
Dinner reservation somewhere.
and dinner, I mean, it just doesn't get better than that. Like, I mean, that song just gets better and better. I just like it more and more. I mean, it just means we won. I mean, there's a good dinner ahead of you. Like, we're all hugging.
Yeah.
So that you know, it just makes me fall in love with the place.
Yeah, I always say if you hear that song like 90 plus times a year, plus
Yeah, there we go. We got here 90 plus times.
another 11 times in the playoffs. It's a great time.
Right.
What was like something that you didn't know or realize? You know, because you played against the Cubs as a player forever, and then you play manage against them.
Wait a second. I'm sorry. I just thought of something.
Yeah.
So I just thought of a really good story. Maybe it's not a
Yeah.
good story.
No, I love stories.
So I changed my number this year,
You did.
right? Because we got a player, we got a pretty good player who wears number 30.
Yeah.
So I said, Kyle, you can have number 30.
Oh, I thought you meant your phone number. I was like, no wonder he doesn't text me back.
I did that too. And I chose number 11 because of a manager that we played for, Jim Leland. Right? And I just, when you said 11, I just remembered that Jim Leland told us, you You win the same number of games as the number on my back, and you're world champs.
Yeah.
So when we win the division this year, I'm gonna break that speech out.
I like it. He never told me that, by the way.
He didn't tell you that?
No, I think he was like, I'm gonna send him down real quick. That is the truth, though. I mean, 11 games, you win your division, you win 11 games.
You win your division, with the number on my back, you're world champs.
I like that you switched to his numbers. Like, to me, I feel like Jim changed our life. For the young guys at that time, you were a little bit more veteran in the sense that you played college baseball, you're a little bit older than us. You really set that tone of what was the expectation of a big leaguer and what it takes to win. Doing this last year, and I mentioned it off the top of the show, since 2017, I think this is a very impressive stat. Other than 2020, which I wholeheartedly just think that year should just be scrubbed so bad, like in life, just like that didn't happen. But in baseball for sure, you've had a winning season as a manager every year since then. What do you think that is? What is the pedigree for that? You know, players aside, I know it takes good players to win, but what is it that causes that? What do you do to put yourself in that position?
Well, I mean, I think mostly you try to be yourself, and you try to impart on players the things that you value, and the things that help us be a winning organization, and that never stops. And it's building culture, which is kind of how you behave and how you interact and how you respond to things, and being vigilant about that. It's taking care of people. I mean, ultimately, a manager's job is it's sometimes it feels like it's usually get mad at me for the decisions I make or things like that. But managing is really it's a people job more than anything. It's not really a strategic job. It's a people job. That's probably the most important thing that you have to remember, I think, doing this job, is because it's also an emotional job. And when we get emotional with people, we don't always do the right thing. And I think that's really important to stay the course with that. And hopefully, all of that creates some consistency. And ultimately, baseball is a game built around consistency. And you respond, and the cream kind of rises to the top in a consistent way.
Consistency. A guy that you had in your rotation last year was consistently dominant. This guy was unclean. And as a manager, you only probably, I know this, right? I mean, I assume this, but I'm pretty sure you only saw film, showed it.
Yeah.
And then, so there's this unknown, like you can sign Garrett Cole and go, I've seen him pitch in person so many times. Shota exceeded, I think, everybody's expectations. What to you made him so impressive?
Well, maybe this is a little biased, but so it was a year ago at this event when we introduced Shota, right?
Yeah.
And it was on a Friday in late January, terrible weather, much better weather this year, by the way.
Yes.
And Shota had done his press conference earlier in the day, like today, right? And I sat there and listened to it, and that was the first time I had met him, the first time I had talked to him, but really just listening to him talk that day, I was like, we're good.
Yeah.
We're good. That, like, I would tell any athlete, go watch that press conference. That's how you do a press conference. That is how it is done.
Yes.
That was the most impressive thing. We're always evaluating the talent of a player, but the person matters too. And when I saw that, I was like, we've got a learner. This kid understands, he's going to learn, he's going to want to get better. And he did all of that and put together a memorable season, it really was.
Yeah. And embraced this, right? Like, it felt like he just embraced Chicago and Cubs fans and what it all means.
Yeah, he's so much fun to be around. Like, he's got just his sense of humor, the showmanship. It's hard to be a showman like while you're pitching. It's just not easy. Somehow, like, you can feel his emotion and his happiness and his competitiveness all at the same time. And that's fun as a fan to connect with that. It's fun as a manager to connect with that, right?
Yep. You had a bunch of young players who stepped through. Obviously, Pete Armstrong had a great end of the season. September was spectacular. Guys like Porter Hodge, Bushy, all these guys coming through. You get a new player this offseason in a trade. And this guy, I know you had to give up to get him. That's part of the game. But Kyle Tucker is, this guy's an MVP. I think he goes unnoticed because of that lineup down in Houston. Not when it comes to who's pitching against him. They know exactly who it is.
Yeah, I mean, I think Kyle's done it in almost a quiet way, and so a lot of people, like, you don't know the name, and even for myself, like, but then you actually look at the numbers, and you're kind of like, whoa. I mean, like, wow.
Yeah.
And it's one of the best hitters in the game. It's what he's been over the last 5 years. And it's hard to get players like that, so you absolutely have to give up some talent to get players like that, but I feel like we've traded for one of the best offensive players in the game.
Yeah, no doubt. This guy's an absolute stud. A year in Chicago, what do you do for, when you're not at Wrigley Field and you have some free time, where can we go stalking? Where do you go? What is your coffee shop? Where do you like to eat?
So, when we started rolling a little bit, I had a relationship with the polar bear at the zoo.
Nice.
Yeah, so I go walk over to the zoo in the morning, find the polar bear, and we talk a little bit about the game the last night. And I thought he helped me out a lot. You know, a little bit of a friend, a psychologist.
Did he did you guys get along?
Yeah, he stared me down. Stared me down pretty good.
A lot safer with that glass, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, you know, throw some stuff around one time. You know, when I didn't make a good decision, he'd throw his this big bowl that he'd throw around. But I walk over to the zoo. The big part of the zoo is like just walk over there in the morning and it's wide open. And
The last free zoo in America.
it's awesome. So that was my favorite place in the mornings for sure. When we had a night game, that's where I was.
I love that. We lost somebody. The game of baseball lost somebody really special. And you have, I know, an extremely personal relationship with Bob Uecker, the legend himself. And yeah, I do say that. And I knew whenever I would be out on the field and I would run to Bob and he'd be somewhere behind the cage by the dugout over there, he'd always yell at me, get away from me with that glove whip. He'd say. And it's because I pitched well against the Brewers, so he hated that. He just always kind of liked to poke fun, and he was always so happy. Memories of him. I don't know if you can share something with us that maybe that you take away from a time with Bob Uecker. I'm sure there's 1,000 of them because he was just
I mean, I think Bob, most importantly, was this great. For me, it was like a historian of baseball. Like he had links to Hank Aaron. He told me stories just about going to help Hank Aaron out after he had a bad game. Like, and Hank was upset. He'd go talk to Hank Aaron. He'd talk about like being in a bar with Mickey Mantle, and telling some crazy story about drinking with Mickey Mantle. And just the stories with the history of baseball that he had, the people that he knew. That was just like it was always incredible to me. And then he's just one of those people too, like there's some people that teach you about living, you know, and how to laugh, and how to be a friend. And like those are the people in your life that you absolutely love. So Bob was a dear friend, and yesterday was a rough day for sure. But he had an unbelievable run on this planet. Yep. I'm happy to have a chance to know him.
Absolutely. Those relationships with people like that, with our old manager Jim Leland, the stuff that they bestow on us, the knowledge that we learn from them, are exactly why you're sitting there in that seat as the manager of the Chicago Cubs. And I can't wait till you give that speech about the number 11 after.
Let's do it.